be lovely.
Oh, I bet you Ashley did this because she says it's from the grandkids. This looks like Ashley.
Grandma and Dad is here and brought another plant.
Oh, good. This is from your grandkids, Mom. You can read it later if you like, or now if you want. I'm going to run these to the car real quick because I don't want to.
Do whatever you need to do. You don't have to ask permission from me for anything.
No, I was more telling her than you.
Oh, okay.
I was just looking at you going,
Gotcha.
don't want to do this.
Oh, wait, we're doing a slideshow during that, huh? I can't put that flower there. That will block the TV. I forgot about that. Oh, did she?
Yeah, Dr. Jerry was slack.
We don't have anything to say. So, a few days before she was 90.
That's a good long life right there.
Yeah, I thought it was. She always had a nice look on her face. I wonder if we should sit on this side so that we can see better. That's how we can see it. Are we supposed to say any particular place?
Usually at one of the front rows, that's where the family is.
Probably why I wanted to sit in the front. Mom suggested over here.
Well, I can't see over the flowers.
Okay.
Hey, let's put that right here for now. Make sure it's not too high. Perfect, I love it.
So we can take this. You guys just like to take it out, especially this one. It's so good to see. I haven't seen it so long. It is. I was 17.
We will.
Hey, baby.
Yeah, you are a little nervous.
You are just fine. She has to get up.
I have to get up and speak though.
Yeah,
You don't.
I didn't know if we were casual or not.
Oh.
I figured
I was telling everybody.
I know, I put tights on, but I got my tattoos.
he's not very
He was
casual.
a great lived in a t-shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He lived in a solid red
It's a little
and
covered.
very blue.
Oh, I love it. I thought on
The
my
picture, and then I got the Mickey balloon right there.
Oh,
I'm wearing
cute.
I couldn't tell.
We're in Utah. I'm wearing tights.
I couldn't even
Those are
tell.
cute ones. I don't want to.
Oh, you can leave it on.
No, that's okay. You guys know.
It's perfect, right in the center.
Thanks for coming today.
No problem.
Well, it's up to you, but it sticks out. Yeah, hide it.
Yeah. Where's the program? I want to see my big name in it.
I don't know, I haven't seen it yet.
The flowers are
7 days.
gorgeous. Yeah, what's your name? I can't remember.
Oh, this is a nice place. How many people are coming?
Nobody said they're coming or not coming, but once they called us, they said they weren't coming because they couldn't. Because it's too far away and they didn't have any way to get here. They were tending their kids,
Oh, yeah.
grandkids.
I'm skipping school. It's the class that I already know everything in. But that's all of them.
That's all of them?
Yeah.
I'm glad you're so smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you are. I'm so glad you brought her.
Yeah.
I told Shelley we should have her there.
Yeah. And she wanted to go.
I'm glad
She wanted to go.
I'm glad she did because I
And
didn't
she,
get down to her husband. Sometimes you don't get what you want to do.
and she enjoyed me driving up.
Did she?
I drove.
And you didn't even scare? Not
No.
even once?
No.
You drove, drove that lady that brought the flowers in, and he says she didn't even get scared once.
No one does.
That's good.
Yeah. This is my grandson.
This is my other child, Ethan.
Nice to meet you.
Oh,
Nice to meet you.
And that's Rebecca, the daughter.
Where you guys learn from?
If I sit up here, I won't be able to see.
Oh, you rather sit over here?
I would be.
But if you want to set your feet on.
We can pick either side, they said, the front.
All right, one of these seats are reserved for you. So if you want to be here, or if you want to move a little over.
Whatever. Yeah, here the streets and sits, I'll sit down. Rid of that heavy purse. Oh, this is lovely. It's a beautiful place, isn't it?
Is it just stuck on that picture or is that
Probably where it starts.
But no, this is.
I was gonna say that's the same picture.
Well, there's,
I can't.
my daughter-in-law, you know, and I, this is what it was up there. I just couldn't do it.
Did you register past? Yeah, that's why.
Here, let me see that one again.
But I sent like a voice memo of what I wanted in the speech.
And they wrote. That feels a little weird though.
No, it's actually really good. It came out better than
Is there anything else? Okay, perfect.
Yeah, we have like.
We're hanging out.
No, I haven't.
Made it over there.
Hey,
No,
I
I
saw
don't
you
work
over
there.
there.
No, I didn't click on it. I thought, I was like, I know this town. Yeah, yeah, probably. And I was like, man, I don't see any cars. So we looked it up. Yeah. I'm gonna take all the way down.
Unless you want to take it away. Oh, I almost got it.
That's like a yard.
It could be on mine. I sure bet. They get a little bit shady. But I didn't even come with the thing to tell. I just watched it. I watered it last night. I would have loved just not to. I did something. But anyway, but yeah. But if the sun is Charlie, one of those names. Charlie, that's what these are. Oh.
Two dogs.
I was turned down. I gave her the. I'm in front of my car because I get photos. I think I was gonna
For a second, the third was she had business. Way too bad. I don't have one. Yeah.
Oh, the Chevy truck.
Rebecca's got three.
Yeah, he's, I don't know. Serrano.
Social media. Social media.
He's Serrano.
I don't get seats.
Oh, do you remember, Lee, my mother-in-law?
Oh.
They don't recognize anybody because I was.
I didn't recognize you. Boy, you grew up.
That happens.
Gas station.
I'd hate to have to slow down services. You know, we'll just do the best we can. Right. Sorry, good to see you.
We're somewhere here.
You're somewhere in
There's
here.
4 places.
And like I said, oh, that's fine.
They have that station.
Yeah. I do remember riding the dog.
Yeah.
I remember that one. That's her because she wanted to do it as a job. I asked you. That's what she wanted to do. That's just been. She's probably. You want to go see it?
No, I think or has
Well, we're not trying to find an excuse of like,
That's why I said, that's what, really, that's what I was saying. We're not like victims. Either one of us. I think I was.
You know, in a way, this is what he loves. So I actually felt so sick Monday, Sunday. I drove up early yesterday to go see Nancy. I had to cancel 3 meetings to go see Nancy yesterday.
I've never
So I felt like trash all the time. I know, because I went to work the last 2 weeks, and I got like Valentine's Day. Maybe last night.
Happy birthday, happy delicious ice cream. We need
For another week.
Yeah, I had a little. Business selling them.
My mom was
You would never convert. Because I don't understand.
yeah, you know, it's this year's fun. Wait till you see my speech. Whatever, yeah.
Right.
Huh?
The bill.
I did have like 500 million.
This one's the one with the brown.
I was so tired. I did. I sat my alarm on my
Hear all the stories about.
and it didn't go off this morning, so I woke up. He went sour. I told him to get a pup. He said it's yeah, I think you had something to do with that.
I don't know if I did or not.
I think you should take credit.
Well, the story she tells you did.
Yeah.
So it worked out.
I got it.
You and your dad and Jerry. I don't know.
Well, it doesn't.
It was a blind date. You set it up.
What was your first date at?
He saw that, yeah. I was only here.
Yeah, you're blind date with that. You said it was like, another Jerry Smith.
Huh? She does. I just find.
Yes. I told him he tried to do that. He told me I was. I've never asked.
Going to Starbucks. In a second place where it doesn't. You let me know. I'll take you to a better.
I'm gonna stay there. Hi. Sorry, I gave the information.
In spirit.
What I found out, you're right.
And if Marie shows up.
I suggested bringing it to the
They
funeral.
struggle with life.
Mom said no way.
I do know that they are. Yes. And then Marie's there is like.
I think that's because I'm the only one who actually understands.
Very valid. Very valid.
There is a line. That if you don't stop me,
we really appreciate all of you being here today to help us honor Jerry. Glad you could make it. We don't want to miss anybody for the military. We're live now on the stream, so say hi to all your fans and family that are watching remotely. Well, that's froze because that's during the service.
Okay.
So I'm going to turn that over to one of these two, and it's this remote. And you'll just, you know how to use that, right? So you'll hit the little play and away it goes. Now, do you want particular music playing during that? Thank you, Senator. They're not ready to sing. Thank you so much. She's not okay.
Oh, I don't mind a big band playing, but, you know, anything that's not rock and roll, heavy metal.
Just no heavy metal.
Oh, that's what I want.
Okay, so, I don't wanna, like I said, I don't wanna start this, so if you know of anybody else that's coming, please let me know so we can postpone starting this so that we don't miss. And about 3 o'clock, we'll ask you to stand up and come with us out here under the portico shade, and we're going to administer the, military services first. And, they'll announce a few things, but there are gonna be some guns that we'll shoot, they're very loud, make sure you plug your ears when that happens. Okay, especially in a parking lot like this, it reverberates quite a bit, it can get pretty loud, so. So we'll do that right at 3, and then we'll ask you to come back in, take your seats, and spend the time with the family.
We had, them do services for my dad.
Okay, so you know what to expect. Okay.
Yeah, we do. My brother was 19 when he died. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I didn't mean to. It was locked.
Test. Testing. Okay, perfect. Can everybody hear me? Okay, if you're more comfortable staying in here, you're certainly welcome to do that, but we'd ask you now to please stand and join us for military services outside. Thank you. They'll tell you when they're going to shoot. You don't have to plug them now.
Back by the Army flag. We have the and an honor. Of course. To provide these military honors for Jerry W. Smith. To honor Jerry's memory. Proudly, we remember his service in the United States Army. Because of Jerry's service and the service of all of those who have served and who serve today, we remain a free people. It is because of them our nation lives, and it is because of them our world is blessed and is a better place for all to live. We pray that these services today will deepen our reverence for our departed veterans. We realize how futile are mere words to express our deep and abiding sympathy in your loss. But may you feel that Jerry is now at peace and at rest. In a moment, this honor guard will be called to attention. Our firing party will fire a rifle salute consisting of 3 volleys. These weapons are quite loud, and you may wish to protect your hearing and that of young children present. Following the rifle salute, our bugler will sound taps. At that time, it is customary to place your right hand over your heart. If you served in the military or are currently serving, please render the military hand salute. Thank you. Please move the flag of the United States Army to the position of honor. Upon entering the armed forces, Jerry and all of us here took an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America. And we pledged allegiance to this flag and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Jerry fulfilled his oath, and so today, this flag becomes a memorial to his honorable service. As we see this beautiful flag being folded, the red stripes reminds us of Jerry's courage and devotion to duty. The white stripes reminds us of the purity of his unselfish patriotism. And the blue in that starry field reminds us of his steadfast service in war, in peace, to his community, and to his country. May we always remember Jerry's defense of our freedoms. May God bless all who are in attendance today, and may God continue to bless the United States of America. That concludes these military honors. We thank you for inviting us to be here. We will be just a few moments as we recover the colors, our salute brass, and withdraw. In closing these words, I remember from the hallowed battlefields of Gettysburg. On fame's eternal campground, their silent tents are spread, and glory guards with solemn rounds the bivouac of the dead. The muffled drum's sad roll has beat the soldier's last tattoo. No more on life's parade shall meet those brave and fallen few. Nor shall their memory be forgot while fame her record keeps, for honor points the hallowed spot where valor proudly sleeps. May God keep you and give you peace.
Attention! Right face! And a trail! Left face. Retrieve flag. Right face. And a trail march.
We'd like to special thanks to Post 90 of the American Legion for being here today, and all the Legionnaires who were able to come out today. We thank you and appreciate your service. We'd invite everyone now to return to your seats inside the meeting area. Thank you so much. thank you for coming out there with us. Thank you for your reference during the military honors. We appreciate participating in that. We'll turn the time over to the family now.
We're good. All right. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this beautiful day to celebrate a beautiful man. He was a beloved friend, father, husband, brother, uncle, grandpa, so many things. Thank you for the beautiful send-off by the military. I know he really enjoyed it. I know when he got to heaven, there was a beautiful celebration for him. And I imagine there was quite a few four-legged friends that were really excited to see him. I ask for comfort and peace for all of those who loved him, and especially his dear wife, Susan. This will be a big transition for her. And I know Jerry will watch over her every day and every night. Thank you so much. We know you love us, dear Heavenly Father. And I say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you for all coming. As a kid, Dad was always working on some project. Yep, you guessed it. He made us kids helpers and tool fetchers. Over the years, I watched and assisted my dad with building and repairing all things around the house, in the yard, in the neighbor's yard, wherever. And he was passing his knowledge on, especially in the art form of jimmy rigging. When you didn't have the right part, and it just didn't matter, you got it done. And in my own life, I was never afraid to disassemble a refrigerator, an oven, or even a dryer, all because I watched my dad do it when I was young. I arrived back in St. George in the fall of 2024. I was thinking, oh, this is going to be great. I can take over the basement, and I can become one of those kids living off my parents. Instead, I found a 24/7 labor of love taking care of my parents. Quickly learning that they needed help, I became a chauffeur, a chef, a gardener, a maid, an errand boy, an accountant, a travel agent, and a nurse. And with these responsibilities, I received the biggest lesson of all, how to parent the parents. I lovingly call them my toddlers. because they frequently told me no. And that was kind of hard to take. My time here has been spent watching the same 5 movies over and over and over. I brought a couple of them out in the hall so you could see them. They will be retired after the service. We laughed, we struggled. He was a stubborn goat. But we established a family bond again. And it has been a pleasure getting to know my dad and my mom again. Watching the decline was hard, but this time I was there for him. This time I had the knowledge of what to do and when to take him to the doctor, when to get the medicine out, and when to say no. I'm thankful your suffering has ended. It has been an honor and a privilege to be there for you. I will always love my stubborn goat. I will miss you. Thank you.
We are here today to honor the life of Jerry Ward Smith, born November 3rd, 1943, and passed away February 17th, 2026, at the age of 82. He met his beautiful wife, Susan, in 1963 and celebrated 63 years of love, laughter, and marriage together. Jerry was a father to 3 children, myself, Michelle, and Steve. My father enjoyed having the grandkids around, 12 grandkids in all, teaching them to ride the great mountains of Beaver, shoot off the back porch with BB guns, and simply enjoy family time together. As most of you know, my father was very fond of being in the mountains, where he and my mother spent countless hours of labor and joy. During their time on the mountain, he gained many friends and memories. All that knew him loved him, and he will be greatly missed. I'm thankful for the memories that have been made with my father, whether that be Dad having me pass a beer through the back window of the pickup truck while we travel across country, riding dirt bikes in the desert, a couple cruises with the family, helping him build his beautiful cabin that we all enjoyed, and exploring the mountains of Beaver and Razors. Funerals are a time of mourning, and we all feel the sadness of his passing. Deep down in my soul, I know he wouldn't want his family and friends to feel sadness in his passing, but rather peace, and knowing that he is no longer in pain and held captive in a body that no longer allowed him to enjoy this life. My hope is that when he walks past the pearly gates, he was shown to his great cabin in the heavens, where he can watch the trees grow and the wildlife frolicking on the mountainside. That's the heaven he deserves, And I must admit, that sounds pretty darn good. As we go forth in life, may you take the time to watch the trees grow a little and think of him. In closing, I'd like to thank everybody who has been able to attend today in person or by live stream. It's nice to know how many people that care for this man. Thank you.
Ooh. As you can tell, I didn't write anything down. I don't have a piece of paper with me. I find that that's what kind of sets me apart from these two. You know, they're talented. When we were kids, these both can do amazing art. They both can play a musical instrument. I can't do any of those. If I entered a stick figure drawing contest, I'd come in last. So how that applies to my father, though, is that he knew we were all different. And he was really good at raising. And so my most fondest memory after this happened, after he passed, is I thought, like, what made me think of him the most? And believe it or not, it's going to Home Depot and Lowe's. I remember when I was a little kid, and he took me to a lumber yard in Denver. He's going to do a project. And the smell of that lumber yard. And my big brother wasn't there. He didn't take him. I don't know what he was doing. It's not important. But I was there. And he let me roam around that place. You know, probably didn't let me. He probably just didn't look for me. But it was, so every time, and I noticed it even I was there at Home Depot in Magnolia, Texas, just before he passed. And I walked by the lumber section, because that's where the bathroom is, and I am getting older. And so I was cruising through there, and this is before he passed. I was like, I thought back to that day, that lumber yard in Colorado. I was like, always think about that. But also remember some times that kind of formed me into the guy I am today. It seemed like I was always getting in trouble because someone could tell me A to B, and that's going to be the best way to get there. No, because I think I can figure out a better way than A to B. I can go to C and D and then come back to B, but I'm going to figure it out. And I think my father's great guidance is that he never gave me the answer. He'd give me a look when I was too far off base. And it always seemed like when we were done talking, I could self-correct myself somewhat or enough. This way, he knew that if he just gave me the answer, I wouldn't believe him. My mom used to always say, nothing good happens after midnight. Well, not now, at 53, 54. Okay, 54. She's right, nothing good happens after midnight. I don't know, I'm not up at that time. But I remember always saying that, and I always tell myself, you don't know what you're talking about. That's like all the best stuff happened. And my dad would never say that kind of stuff. I got in trouble one time, and he made just little self-corrections I thought were quite beautiful. He once came home from work, and I think his truck was in the shop. Now, I could be wrong on this story, so don't hold me to it. But there I was with a good friend from school. We got this wonderful idea that if you soak tennis balls in kerosene and light those bad boys on fire, that was the best way to play soccer in the garage. So we had soaked these in there, and we lit them on fire. We were on fire. And I don't know what it was about Jerry, my dad, he knew when to come home. He knew when to come home early. Because we'd well planned that out. And there we were in a 3-car garage with all 3 bays with either a 57 or a 55. I don't know which one was in there. A T-Bird in the garage. 2 kids kicking them back and forth, a tennis ball, soaked in kerosene, with tennis shoes that were on fire. And he sent I remember, instead of just straight taking me to the woodshed, he got we got the fire out. It never burned anything, never burned us. And then I remember it took him quite a while to calm down. And that's where I learned patience that day. And I find, even though I don't follow it today as much as I should, but if you take some time to just sit back after it's all happened, you'll come to a much calmer solution. I still got beat, and it was well-deserved. I never looked back on my father and thought any beating he ever gave me was unnecessary. They were always necessary. Many fire instances over the years. Me and a couple friends set a field on fire behind our house. This thing was a massive blaze. It took several fire departments to put it out. I remember as we were running from the fire, of course, my dad knew it was time to come home. And we ran across a busy road, jumped in our backyard, got on our bikes, and headed to another person's house. He sent my sister to come and get us. And here's my dad standing in front of the sliding glass door, drinking a beer. You boys know anything about this? And of course we're going to lie, because that's the story we're going to stick to. And I remember, I'm just like, he's going to beat all of us. Yeah, he knows it's us. It's written on our faces. And he just said, all right, you guys can go. And he talked to me about it later. I just think he didn't want to be on the hook financially for what it took to put that fire out. And of course, there was no damage to anybody's property. It was just a field full of weeds and stuff. But I was always doing stuff like that and always getting just the right amount of correction. I don't think I ever did the same thing twice. I think, I always tell everybody in my job that I have now that I have 2 books on my coffee table, the Book of Failure and the Book of Success. The Book of Success is only a couple pages thicker because I've usually gone down the wrong road before I self-correct. And I think my dad's a big part of getting me to self-correct. He could have gave me all the answers for the book. I wouldn't have followed any of them. And both books would still be the same today. So a great man for that. I always felt like, I hope my kids see it someday, that he never gave me enough rope to hang myself. He gave me just enough so I could look over the edge and see. Just enough. Just enough. And that was perfect. That's perfect for me. Now, would that worked with Shelley, Jerry? Well, I mean, you didn't have to worry about neither one of them. That wasn't their thing. But he knew how to bring it all back and forth. We had a great childhood. Remember going to Denver Bronco games? How cool was that for a kid back then in the 80s? John Elway, we were there when he first started. I also remember him getting us to leave one time early because the Broncos were being taken to the woodshed. And he wanted to get on that bus earlier so he could get the good seats. By the time we got to the bus, John Elway had brought him back, and they had won. And that bus driver let us know. But I could see it in my dad's eyes that he's like, I still made the right decision. He was happy for the win. But the game didn't mean the same to him that it did to us, because we're like, Broncos, because that's our identity. We're Denver only. Denver's the best. That was our. It wasn't that for him. I don't think he really cared about a team or anything like that. It was a moment with his family. We all had to take turns. We only had 3 tickets because we weren't that well off, but we were pretty well off. And so we all had to take turns. And I remember sometimes we'd go with my mom, and it'd be my sister and me and my mom. Sometimes it'd be my dad and my brother or my sister. So it was pretty pretty well dished out. And I remember always looking up at him, just seeing like in any situation throughout life, like, how's he going to handle this one? I wish I followed it more closely, but everybody has to be their own person. I'm definitely my own person. But I think the biggest thing is in anything, in any problem, step back before you react and just let it simmer a little bit and then move forward before you say something you regret or do something you regret. So that's what he meant to me. He's a great father. He got me. I was the last one. I'm sure it was a pain in the butt, but he did a great job, and I'm dearly be missed. Right, Mom? Yeah. All right. Thank you.
All right, I do have something written down. I'm definitely a little bit my dad, but also with OCD. So there we have it. When I think about my grandpa, I think about the summers. Our summers were chaotic, chronically sunburned, dirt in our shoes, dumpster diving with cousins. We were never on an iPad or a screen. We were the definition of outside kids. We came home when the streetlights turned on, drank from the hose, and probably had too few baths. During the summer, my brother and I split time between Salt Lake and St. George. And when we were in St. George, Grandpa was our daytime supervisor. And I use that word intentionally because babysitter doesn't feel quite right. Babysitters supervise children, but Grandpa and I supervised each other. During those summers, there were unlimited Chef Boyardee ravioli cups, Nesquik chocolate, or strawberry milk on tap. We had them both. And if we were lucky, a Coke with a tablespoon of vanilla in it, because Grandma had introduced us to that magic. Grandpa was mostly annoyed he had to do the extra step, as he would mumble back to the pantry, as we said, wait a minute, there's no vanilla in this, Grandpa. But he always did it anyways. They say kids are asked up to 100 questions a day. For a sensitive, highly emotional kid like myself, that was a lot. A lot of explaining yourself, a lot of trying to answer correctly, a lot of feeling like you need to present your inner world in a way that makes sense to adults. If kids are asked 100 questions a day, my grandpa maybe asked 5. There were no expectations to give a report about how school was going, what me and my friends were up to, what I had accomplished that year. We didn't need to impress him. I didn't need to narrate myself to be understood. I could just be. What I remember most is not what he did for us or even what he said to us, but how it felt to be with him. Being with him felt iconically unhurried. Like nothing was about to fall apart if we didn't optimize the afternoon. Nothing was urgent. Nothing was too important. There was no sense that we needed to be somewhere else or do something more. As an adult in a world where productivity is currency and value is tied to what we produce, what we earn, what we accomplish, and how fast we do it, I've realized how rare that presence is and how much I want more of it in my life. A couple of years ago, I started training for a marathon, which, if I'm being honest, was less about athletic ambition, have very little of that, and more about trying to outrun my own restlessness. In your 30s, there's a strong collision of pressure and possibility. You're old enough to know better, young enough to think you can still fix everything, and aware enough to feel the weight of it all. Running felt like control, like forward motion, and proof that I was doing something. During those long runs, my knees started to hurt. Not a little ache, not the kind that you can stretch out and move from. They hurt while I ran, they hurt while I sat on the couch, they hurt while climbing stairs, they hurt while I got into my car, they hurt all the time. And as they hurt in the heat of the summer with the sun reflecting off the asphalt, every mile felt heavier than the last. And during one particularly painful, obnoxious run, a memory resurfaced. One summer, my brother Caden and I were rollerblading in the driveway at Grandma and Grandpa's house. I was clocked in for another summer shift of supervising Grandpa. It was a full-time position, and I took my role seriously. I was wearing a denim miniskirt with lace trim, paired with glitter tights that gave me a raging rash in the St. George heat, and a Little Mermaid t-shirt adorned with rhinestones. But the most important piece of my outfit was my iconic all-plastic pink and purple Barbie rollerblades. I looked adorable, and I knew it. And then Grandpa came out of the garage holding something that looked like sports equipment, but more like an artifact from another era. They were thick, worn leather knee pads, the kind used for woodworking. The straps were stiff, the inside fabric was peeling and fuzzy from years of use. They looked like they had been on concrete floors for long hours and in real work. He started giving us a lecture about knee health. about how his knees hurt all the time and how important it was that we protect ours so we didn't end up like him. At the time, it felt unnecessary and slightly dramatic. Now I hear something different in it, a quiet kind of foresight, a man who would smirk if he heard about my knee pain now. Before I knew it, I was sitting on the trunk of the car and he was strapping these knee pads onto my legs. They were thick, bulky, itchy, and completely off-brand. I remember hopping off the trunk, hand on my hip, and completely offended. He had disrupted my aesthetic, killed my vibe, and possibly ruined my entire summer. I distinctly remember thinking, my grandma will be hearing about this, which felt appropriate because her house was decorated in baby pink and baby blue, after all, and she certainly would have understood my distress. Now, fast forward a couple of summers, Grandpa loved ghost towns. He loved dirt roads, places where time felt paused, and on this particular day, it was me, Caden, Grandpa, and Charlie at one of these ghost towns. Out of nowhere, among dirt and tumbleweed, there was a sharp rattle that froze the air. It was a rattlesnake. And I had never seen a rattlesnake before. And I had also never seen my grandpa move so fast. Before I could fully comprehend what was happening, he had stepped forward and stomped on the snake so swiftly and so forcefully that it was over in seconds. His presence left me feeling safe and protected, the kind of presence that doesn't posture about strength, but absolutely uses it when it matters. It was calm until he needed not to be. After the dust had settled, my first thought was, oh, this man's knees are perfectly fine. What I understood now is that those knee pads were never about my outfit. They were about protecting me. A protection that was soft and understood, not loud, not dramatic, just steady. I felt protected by my grandpa, not because he made a show of it, but because he was always paying attention, even when we didn't notice. When I think about him now, especially on long runs, when my knees ache, I think about those stories, and I think about the way he approached life. In a world that tells us that our value is tied to how much we produce or earn or accomplish, I think his presence was quietly rebellious. I hope I carry forward the reminder that I don't have to outrun my restlessness to make life meaningful, that I can slow down, that I can just be. And maybe, just maybe, protect the knees of the people I love, even if they think it ruins the outfit. I love you, Grandpa. Thank you for the summers.
All right, I got something half written down, so I'd say I'm a good mix of all of you. So my name's Rebecca. I'm one of the grandkids. I actually live out of Vegas, so I always kind of come back and forth. But my grandfather, Grandpa Jerry, he was always a big part of my life. And I was lucky enough to have a lot of really fun experiences with him, and I wanted to go through a couple of them. My grandfather, he inspired a lot in me, but he was also my number one connection to this really weird thing called the outdoors. Especially, growing up in Vegas, I was a little closer to the nearest casino than a tree. So that was always kind of nice. The cabin was definitely my favorite summertime spot. Even though it didn't have Wi-Fi, it was a very fond part of my childhood. Now, specifically my favorite thing, I don't know how we got this name, but we would call it razor rides. We'd get to ATV over the whole mountain. And I remember, especially when I was younger, we got to drive everything in the National Forest, and it was just so cool. Now, eventually, I don't remember exactly how old I was, but Grandpa started teaching me how to drive it myself. Now, I only almost crashed into a tree once, so I think I was very successful. I mean, we made it. Now that I think about it, one of my favorite full circle moments, obviously, I drive it on my own now. I have a driver's license now. It's really scary. But now Charlie gets to run alongside with me, and now it's one of my favorite things. He prances like a deer. Truly adorable. Now, of course, Grandpa also taught me how to shoot a BB gun like the rest of you. And, you know, like my mother previously mentioned, we would always have to watch these old war movies. And I thought it was so cool. I was like, I get to shoot one. Oh, it was so awesome. And eventually they bought the really cute baby blue one. Forever holds a place in my heart. And whichever one of you broke it, exactly. I haven't forgotten. Now, eventually, of course, he was my only connection to the outdoors, and I started to enjoy it more as an adult. I never fully understood just how much of a blessing that cabin was and how much of a blessing his influence in my life was until, honestly, the last couple of years. Now, my grandfather, of course, he was pretty badass. He taught me how to fish, and in his memory, I will continue to fish, but make sure I pay someone to put the worm on for me. Yeah, Mom got $40 last summer. I'll be hiring for this summer. Hired. Now, of course, I was really grateful to be able to talk to him before he passed, and when I say my grandfather was one of my biggest supporters, I truly mean it. Hearing his compliments about my success across the board, my financial success, my success in the arts, not so much the outdoors, it warmed a big spot in my heart. And of course, I was so blessed to be there last Wednesday before he passed. And one of the last things he heard was us all talking about boobs. And after thinking and reflecting about everything this past week, I realized something. I hope I grow up to be just as cool and as amazing as my Grandpa Jerry. Because he had a great life. He loved the people around us, and we all loved him so dearly. And also, he knew an important truth. Boobs are awesome. Rest in peace, Grandpa Jerry.
We have a wireless.
Yeah, get a wireless. Oh. I can talk loud. Thank you for your patience. Everyone can hear it. I don't need a microphone.
My grandpa has always been the funny one, the kind of guy who could make the whole room laugh without even trying. He had that charm about him, a little bit of a ladies' man, a little bit of a troublemaker in the best way, and he carried that spark with him everywhere he went. Some of my favorite memories are the cabin, sitting together watching movies, nothing fancy, just being there with him, hearing his comments, his snores, the way he'd settle in, like that was exactly where he belonged. Those moments felt simple at the time, but now I realize they were everything. He loved fishing too. I think it wasn't just about catching fish. It was about the peace of it, the quiet, the beauty of nature. That was Grandpa. He knew how to enjoy life in the ways that really mattered.
And he loved going on adventures in his Razor. He didn't just like the ride, he loved bringing us along. Some of my favorite memories are the amazing adventures he took us on, bouncing down trails, laughing, and just enjoying the moment. That was Grandpa, always ready for a little fun. But what I'll miss most about is how proud he was of us. He didn't care about money or titles. Even though I work in retail and have a few side gigs that don't make much money, he always made me feel like I was doing enough. He was proud of me for what I could do, for who I am. And he made sure I felt that. That meant everything to me. That kind of love changes you, to have someone look at you and see your worth without conditions. That's a gift, and that's who he was. He made me feel important. He made me feel capable. He made me feel loved. I'm gonna miss his humor. I'm gonna miss the way he'd greet me. I'm gonna miss his stories. I'm gonna miss the way he'd light up when us grandkids came to visit. I'm gonna miss everything about him. But I'll carry his pride with me. I'll carry his humor. I'll carry his kindness. And I'll carry the certainty that no matter what I do in life, he believed in me. And that means more than anything.
I didn't know I was going to get up here to speak, and I didn't even know we were doing speeches, but I'm going off on a wing like my dad did. The things that I remember most with Grandpa was going up to the cabin and... Is this better? Okay. We would always go up to the cabin with Grandpa over the summer, and I loved watching the Blue Jays. And I remember that Grandpa was always so excited to bring the peanuts out, and we would go set the peanuts out everywhere, and we would just sit and watch for the Blue Jays. And another thing was going out on the Razor. I think that was my favorite part. We would just go, and we brought one of my friends one time who was super close to me, and she ended up passing away. And it's one of the biggest memories that I have going there. I remember that my brother Caden was there, and he brought his Razor, and so we switched going in Grandpa's Razor and Caden's Razor, and it was just like really nice because it was one of the last times I ever hung out with her, and Grandpa made it super memorable, and so did Grandma. And they just made her feel really welcomed, and it was just like, it was really fun. And I also always remember watching that one movie about the talking monkey that Grandpa loved. We would always watch that movie, and I remember the marbles and the like things you could build. I don't remember what it's called, but that was always so much fun. And Grandpa was always so excited to watch me build marbles, and he was just always there for everyone. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
know if I need to be on the podium. I'm what you considered an... But you can't hear past my chest? I'm what you considered one of the honorary grandchildren. And my first meeting with Grandpa was up at the cabin, and I couldn't fish correctly, so I think y'all used up his patience, because when he was teaching me, I was doing it wrong. But he was still just so delightful, and he didn't give up, which was nice. He's just like, no, do it again, that's wrong, do it again. And it was just so nice to have him want to show me how to fish. And I'm really glad I got to know him. He was a really good role model for the amount of time I did know him. And he was really kind. I mean, he wanted to let me ride the razor, but I'm really scared. He's like, oh, come on, you can do it. No, I'll just carry Lindsay up. I'll carry Lindsay up. I'd rather just do the hard because it was just so scary. But he gave me every opportunity to try. And then if he tried to make it that better too, he tried to widen the path so I could take my Jeep up there. But at that time, he couldn't quite carry the rocks up the way he used to. So I got brave a couple of times and I did take Lindsay up on the razor, but it wasn't often. I'll miss him. Yeah. I'll miss Grandpa.
We had the opportunity to go on a cruise with Mom and Dad with the kids when they were younger. And they had played this love and marriage show, and Mom and Dad had been married longest out in the audience, so you guys got pulled up on the stage. And one of the questions that they asked was, what is your most favorite place? And Mom and Dad both flipped over their signs at the same time that said Beaver, which to a lot of people outside of the state of Utah, that means something else. So for the next 4 or 5 days on the cruise, every room we went into, people that seen Big Jer would go through the room yelling, Jerry, Jerry, Jerry. So he always, wherever he went, made a good impression.
Well, I'll keep this short, because I know most of us don't like here speaking, but my good memory of Grandpa's cabin, babysitting these two. Grandma was the worst. But I love you, Grandma. All I have to do is watch Grandpa sit down all day, watching his Western movies. Of the same one. He kept it happy. Same thing with Charlie, always trying to steal his food. If that. Good times were in the cabins as well, shooting BB guns, going fishing. I know one trip Grandpa Grandpa caught like 7. I caught like 17. I said, sucker, I got more than you. Same thing of riding, cooking s'mores. I burned myself a lot. Same place I cut my knee very bad. Mom remembers. I kept thinking I saw my bone, but no, it's just skin tissue. But overall, unfortunately, I couldn't see Grandpa one last time, but last time I got to see him was babysitting them and dealing with Grandma, but but it was a good time. Being with Grandma, babysitting them, watching them talk, have fun, watch their movies. It was a good time. So yeah, that's my experience with Grandpa, having fun, riding around, shooting BB guns, eating s'mores. So yeah, that's it.
I'm an indoor girl. And I was raised in Southern California, and I like to go to the beach. No, I don't really, because it's sandy. I like to go to Disneyland. And my husband doesn't have patience sometimes for being an indoor girl. Even though he's an indoor guy, don't let him fool you. He likes all the 5-star things. And so we would go to the cabin, and I would want to go fishing, but I've never fished before. And he'd be like, I'm not taking you fishing. You don't do anything. You don't put the worm on the hook. And so Grandpa would be like, I'll take you fishing. And here we would go, and he'd make sure I had my hat on and bug spray and everything. I think he knew I was inept. And we would take the Nemo pole. And I'm telling you, Rylan and I caught 23 fishes that Grandpa put the worm on, cast out, and took the fish off, but we reeled them in. So those are our catches. And I also used to look forward to if the dogs were on the rope or not. And so that was the best when you would drive in and you'd see Charlie and Sammy come on their long ropes because they didn't listen very well and they went and got that rock check. And I kind of felt bad for him, so I would let him off, and he would say, who let those dogs off the rope? And I would blame Steve. He knew it was me. He knew it was me. And we had a very large Dane. His name was Martin, and the dog love of my life. And we brought him up to the cabin, and Grandpa said in the morning, girls, come see, there's deer and turkeys. And so we're looking, and we see the turkeys, and we're looking for the deer, and both Rylan and I say, Grandpa, we don't see the deer. He's like, right there, that big thing, it's right there. And we're like, Grandpa, that's Martin. That's not a deer, that's our dog. And I'll leave with this last one because it's really funny. Grandpa had a way with animals, and his leg was really sexy to our dog. And we didn't know that he did that. And so poor Grandpa was sitting on the recliner chair, and we were watching Avatar for the 57th time, and I won't ever watch Avatar again. And our dog humped the crap out of Grandpa on his leg so hard that it knocked him over in the recliner. And Jerry laughed so hard that we couldn't even help him. And it kind of became the thing that we're like, Grandpa, be careful of your legs because Martin's gonna get him. And they were pretty sexy legs. Yeah, and then he humped my husband too. So.
I will say one more thing. She reminded me of something. Grandpa's the main reason I became in love with the outdoors. Going to scouts, and I still blame mom and dad for one that they didn't let me go on. We were gonna go in the freezing cold snow and camp out, and I'm still mad that you guys didn't let me. But one I can remember was we were told by our scout leaders to make shelters. Everyone still had their tents, but I'm like, I'll sleep in my shelter. Didn't get wet at all. Everyone's like, oh, you're going to get wet, dude. Nope, I didn't get wet. But no, Grandpa made me the most in love with outdoors, fishing. He's the main reason I enjoyed it. And of course, Grandma. No. 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 Not at all. Not even close. Joking, yeah. Yeah, you gotta blame them, not me. No. But yeah. Always so much fun. I know there was a few times I was out up there, like one time it was me, Grandma, and Grandpa. We were up there doing our things. And I knew I was waiting for Dad to come pick me up at the cabin. So I was with Grandma and Grandpa, and I heard a truck pull up on him, and I just, gone. Went right downstairs to greet Dad because he came to pick me up. But yeah, Grandpa always made it fun up in the cabin, shooting BBs, eating s'mores, and of course, watching the same movie 20 times. Oh yeah, more like 20 times in a day, but... Oh yeah, fall asleep, he wakes up, I'm like, I need to change that back. Yeah, he made it fun. He made it enjoyable. And may his soul rest in peace.
I'm not very good at this, so I'm just going to keep this short and simple, but I just want to say thank you to Grandma and Grandpa both for taking me in. When my mom met them, my mom met Jerry, and they both loved me a lot, and I'm super thankful for that because I have another pair of grandparents, and I love you guys both, and my favorite memory is watching him shoot cows off the balcony. And I've never seen someone shoot cows with a BB gun when I was that little, so that was a good memory. But yeah, I'm super thankful that I had both of you guys growing up that loved me and cared for me. So